The intro might take us a couple of tries.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, and we didn't decide on what we're going to name it, so we're not going to name it at this particular moment.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
If we even need to name it.
Nah.
Because I kept coming up with stuff like Dana's description, or Dana does bikes, or like Debbie does Dallas, or is it the Brown walk around?
I don't know yet.
Okay, we'll just do that.
We'll hit up the brewery after this and
Right.
then figure that out.
Sounds like a plan. Hey everybody, I'm Jason Bennett with Moto Photo and Adventures, and today we are with Dana Brown, and we're standing in front of a little tiny motorcycle.
Because it's a classic
It
from an era that's kind of gone away and has come back, and now it's going away again.
Well, that just seems like a tease.
It is.
Right, so tell me a little bit of why we're standing in front of this little tiny motorcycle and what it is that you do. Let's just give them a little brief explanation of what it is that we're about to embark on over the next several weeks.
Okay, so I work for Charleston Triumph in marketing and sales, and I have the worst job in the world of where I get to market and sell and ride these things.
That absolutely sucks.
It's horrendous.
I understand, man.
Yeah.
We all have our burdens to bear.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just jump right into it with both feet and tell me about this Triumph.
So this is a 2024 Triumph Bonneville Thruxton RS. It is a 1200cc cruiser / cafe racer because it's based off the Bonneville chassis.
Okay.
The beautiful thing about this bike is it's kind of a throwback to an era that we don't see anymore in terms of motorcycling. Back in the late 50s, early 60s, there was this event in the US called the British Invasion. And I'm not talking about the Beatles.
I'm gonna sit on it while you talk.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, Triumph, BSA, and Norton all made lightweight 500 to 600cc bikes that were fast, nimble, and brought them over to the US, and they raced them.
Right.
And these bikes did a number against Harley Davidson to the point that Harley couldn't compete against them, you know, in professionally racing.
Oh, that's pretty cool. What year was this approximately?
I want to say like 57 was the first ones where they first came out. Now Triumphs were really starting to be big in 58 to 63. And that Thruxton, the first Thruxtons came out in, I want to say 1960.
Okay.
And they were a 500, not a 1200.
Okay.
Now in England, there's a race called the Isle of Man TT. Basically, it's on the island of Isle of Man, and you race as fast as you can go around it. So in
Well, that's pretty much the definition of a race.
to a degree.
Okay.
Well, I mean, the Isle of Man TT, there's no like guardrails.
Yeah.
So it's like you might hit a pebble at 140 and
No, that would be bad.
yeah.
Okay.
But the original Isle of Man TT, the Thruxtons is what Triumph entered in those races. They were 500s, and for 3 years, they were the fastest bike out there.
Okay.
Now, British invasion's going on. In the late 60s, early 70s, Japan came into the picture. They brought the Honda CB series over. Yamaha brought some other bikes over, and the British kind of domination of sport bikes went away. Now, when that happened, Triumph stopped making the Thruxton
Okay. What did they replace it with?
with nothing.
Okay. They were just out of the business.
They were just out of the cafe racer business. The cafe racer was kind of seen as a fad.
Okay.
Now,
But they still had a line of other things that were doing fairly
yes.
well, but they decided to just stop with this thing.
yeah, at that time frame, you had the Bonneville, which is a cruiser version of this bike.
My dad had a Bonneville, I think, in like '68.
My mom's father had a Bonneville TR6. He was stationed in Greece. And I'd love to find that bike someday. but yeah, this is also the time frame when Steve McQueen came on the scene with the Scrambler. So you go from a Thruxton into the Scrambler kind of era of Triumphs.
Is that the one where he jumps the hill over the fence?
The Great Escape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Even though that was really a BMW. In the
Let's
movie.
not get into the movie
But,
technicalities, but okay, yeah.
But so the cafe racer scene kind of died. Now Triumph had some internal issues, external issues, bankruptcy, crazy business stuff. So in the late 90s, Triumph came back. They were always here, but they were never what you see now. Triumph came back in the late 90s, and then in the mid 2000s, around 2005, they came out with the Modern Classic. The Modern Classic was a throwback to that old era. And in 2006, the Thruxton was brought back. Now, when the Thruxtons were brought back, no one knew what to think of them. And it's kind of interesting because that's what it is now.
Right.
You know, they kind of reinvigorated the whole cafe racer scene. And, you know, for the last 14, 15 years, the Thruxton was kind of that bike.
Okay.
Now, a couple other companies tried to bring back, you know, Honda tried making a CB cafe racer. It was never really successful. But I mean, for what it is a true cafe racer.
Gotcha. All right, I'm gonna hold you right there. I gotta do something. The sun has come out, and there's no way I can see without crying, so this is just gonna have to happen. You can put your sunglasses on if you want to. I mean, it just came out.
I mean, my
right
future's so bright, I've got to wear shades.
I mean, it did highlight and glisten and gleam
Yes.
off the bike, but now we have to put on our shades. So let me ask you a question real quick before you continue on with the history and the background of this thing. Cafe racer. Give me a working man's definition of a cafe racer.
So the Dana Brown definition,
That's what I'm asking.
which is not the proper one.
Don't care.
So basically, the cafe racer is a motorcycle that's got a low slung frame on fuel tank, sporty handlebars.
Right.
So it's not like the typical, you know, cruiser style. It's more.
Is that
of
the position or is it the?
Yep. Because you got to think, you were racing. This
Yeah.
was a legit race bike.
Right.
And then you've got beefed up suspension in the back, high quality brakes. Now the first Thruxtons were just cobbled together with whatever Triumph had.
Right.
And it's kind of funny because that's how this bike is today. I mean, you've got a fully adjustable Olin suspension on it. That is very similar to what the Scrambler 1200s have.
Gotcha.
You have the Brembo Stilema front calipers, which is the same exact caliber that my Tiger 900 Rally Pro had.
Dual discs.
And then you've got the 1200cc engine that's from the Bonneville, which is Triumph's, you know, #1 seller. It's a cruiser bike. So you've got
tried and true.
right.
Push you down the rotor.
So you got all these random things thrown together, and this is what we get.
Okay, so let's get back to now that they did the history, they did the racing, they said, that's enough of that, and then they decided to bring it back. When did they bring it back?
I want to say 2006 is when they first really made their introduction.
An uninterrupted run?
Yep.
From then till
now.
Till 24.
Yep. Now,
and then 24 is the end of that.
Yes. Now, we received an email a couple months ago that said Thruxtons are going away. And what that basically was Triumph said, hey, here is a special edition coming out. We're making a limited number, and this is it. After 2024, there'll be no more Thruxtons unless, you know, they decide to bring them back, you know, 10 years from now or whatever. So this right here is a 2024, but there is a specialized edition where they're all serial numbered and all that. Now, we don't have one of those yet because they're very hard to get. And when I say they're serial numbered, I think there's like 700 of them.
So they're going to make 20 in 2024. They're limited edition kind of deal, right?
Yes.
Okay. Is this isn't one of those?
No, this isn't one of them. This is just the normal Thruxton RS.
Now it's a 2024. It's right now. It's the middle of November, 2023. Are they sending one of these out to everybody to showcase, or did you just happen to be like somebody who knows somebody?
It depends on your dealer.
Okay.
For us, we're the third largest seller of Triumphs on the East Coast.
All right, that helps.
So we have a little bit more pull when it comes to things. So we're able to get bikes that we think we can sell or that we think are more marketable in our region.
Okay.
So we got this one about 4 weeks ago, uncrated it, threw it on the showroom, and there she is. Cool.
Naming some things that might or might not have similarities to either other Triumphs or other similar sized bikes. I mean, because a cafe racer, if I'm understanding you properly, is a go fast piece of equipment rather than a chill out piece of equipment.
To a degree.
Okay.
Back in the day, in the 60s, yes, it was a go fast bike. This was the Kawasaki Ninja, Suzuki GSXR,
Okay.
of its day.
Now I'm getting some historical perspective. Some where does it slot into the bike lineup of all things?
So now this is more of a nostalgic, a modern classic. You know, kind of bring back, you know, something like our parents probably had back in the day that they sold when we had us because they wanted to be responsible. But here they are. So this is the concept of them. Now the 1200. I mean, it's 104 horsepower. On paper, it looks a lot. This is not like a 1200 sport bike.
Okay.
If you can get this thing to 110, 120, I'd be very surprised.
Now, is that weight, gearing? What's the...
It's a combination of a lot of things. It's a very heavy bike.
What's the weight?
I want to say it's like 475.
That's about what my Norden is.
Yeah.
That's about what an ADV bike is.
Correct.
But it's all super low.
Yep, and it's a steel frame. The 1200cc engine in them is the same as the Bonneville line. They're not high rev engines. You know, they'll redline to like, you know, 7,000 RPM, 6,500 RPM. That's it. Okay. It's not like a Japanese sport bike or a Ducati where you're up to 14,000 RPMs and you're just a missile.
I understand.
So, are they quick? Yes. Are they fast? No.
Okay, well, that's all right. And so I guess it just depends on the thing that you are trying to go for. And if with this Thruxton and the Cafe Racer, if you're going all the way back to history, then you need to stay in that lane.
Right. Now, an interesting thing, and this is something that Triumph kind of did for about the last 5-6 years. So down in Alabama at the Barber Complex, it's a big motorcycle museum, road course, kind of, it's a bucket list for me.
Okay.
Probably should be for you guys too.
All right.
Triumph the last 5 years has hosted, they call it the Thruxton Cup.
Okay.
So basically they put a lot of these out on the track and guys are racing them and, you know, full leathers, you know, they're racing a legitimate road course with them and they'll take them up to 85, 90 miles an hour and it'll be just like how they were raced back in the 60s and 70s.
That's pretty cool. Well, let's wrap this one up. Anything right off the top of your head that you would say that would, besides it being a last year model or whatever, what is it that you would think that gets somebody who isn't into this style of bike to get a little curious about this style of bike?
It's a niche bike. I own a Triumph Scrambler, and the reason why I'm in that niche is because I like Steve McQueen and stuff like that.
Sure.
The Thruxtons are a niche bike for people that kind of enjoyed old school racing, like the Isle of Man TT, the old MotoGP series back in the 60s. So this is a niche bike for, I think, older riders. Do I see a lot of younger riders come in here and look at this bike? No, they're like, what is that thing?
So this is an off the factory floor resto mod kind of brain where you want the old school feel, but you need the new school brakes.
Modern technology is a beautiful thing.
That's what I'm saying. So, all right. So I love it, man. This is pretty cool. I challenge everyone now to go at least hunt YouTube and find the Steve McQueen clip. I might just throw it in here.
So another potential destination, bucket list that I have, is actually going to England to the Isle of Man TT. Now the chances of seeing these race is gone. Right now, all the big European and Japanese manufacturers, they race the sport bikes out there. But to me, it would be cool to see the same exact track and layout that these guys kind of cut their teeth on and made their money in.
Oh, that would be cool. And they have to do like the NFL where they wear the throwback helmets and the throwback jerseys. Can we do that? The leather bombers and
top speed 140 miles an hour.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna go with it, dude, go whole hog and let's
old leather gloves.
All I'm saying,
goggles.
Man, I think it would be awesome. It'd make some great pictures.
It'd be like the world's fastest Indian.
I loved that movie.
A great movie.
That was a great movie. All right, so give me the last few sentences of what you want people to know about this and where they can come see it before it goes.
So, if you're into the niche of having a cafe racer, I would say, you know, come on by. We've got one right now. I don't know how long it'll last because it's a niche bike and it's the last year. It could be gone tomorrow. So, if you really want to check one out, I'd say come on by and take one for a test ride.
Perfect. That's the Thruxton. That's Dana. I'm Jason. Hit the like and subscribe button. Put a comment below if you've ever ridden one of these, seen one of these, your dad had one of them, and your mom ran on the back. So, we'll see you next time. Moto Photo Adventures. Keep watching.
Or if your mom and dad met and rode one and made you.
Across the beautiful countryside.